Great. Well, welcome, champions. We are here today with Aly Bloom. She is an elite coach from Illinois, and we're just going to do a Q&A. If you have any questions, go ahead and pop your questions below in the chat box, and then I'm just going to read them off from our post we did earlier today on the champions page. Aly, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so we have about a half hour, 40 minutes to get through these, so we will just kind of go fast and furious. So if anyone has any questions, like I said, just pop them in the chat and we will get to them as we get along. Okay, so first question. What steps do you take to help your coaches reach diamond and above?
Okay, so really it depends on where my coaches are in their process. If they're right at the beginning and they seem like they're really going to go for it, I work with them one-on-one probably once a day. I would say, like, I reach out to them. If they are struggling in any areas, I will get on a Zoom with them. I will watch them go through their power hour. I'm really, really hands-on with them. If I see something that they're lacking within their power hour, or if they're not inviting enough, or if they're not following up, or if the wording that they're using is turning someone off, I will definitely let them know and I will change it with them. We will talk about why they've been doing it that way. And on our team, we have a lot of scripts and systems that we use. And so I promote using those and not really going rogue is what we call it. Like, don't go rogue. Make the script sound like you, but use the format that we provided, because it's really just trial and error that I've done when I first started coaching. And this is what produced the best results. So I try and tell them that if they use the simplified steps, if they do things consistently every day instead of just sporadically throughout the month, they have a higher likelihood of hitting. Lots of coaches who downline and they say, no diamond.
Oh no, Aly, we're breaking up. We can't hear ya. Oh no. Okay, we'll give Aly a couple more minutes to come on. Sorry about that. Oh, there you are. Aly? Aly, can you hear us? Okay, sorry about that, guys. We have a little bit of technical difficulties. We will see if we can get Aly back on. Aly, can you hear us now?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay,
about that.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
So where did you hear until, where did I stop?
So you were talking about consistency.
Oh yeah, okay. So just not doing it sporadically throughout the month, but really following the power of, we like to do power of 10s on our team, invite 10 a day, follow up with 10 a day, make sure that you're doing your personal development, really all the vital behaviors. And there's nothing more to it. It's so simple, but just not burning out. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think that's great. Thank you. Okay, the next question is from Tamara, and she says, I struggle with reaching out after I build the relationship, like what to say in a direct email or offer something. How do you connect on that level?
Okay, so this is something I really had trouble with too when I first started coaching, because I didn't understand forming. I didn't understand forming relationships and how to bridge the gap. So my suggestion would be to build the relationships in a fitness and health context. So basically build a relationship, but ask all the questions you would need to know to qualify the person, to see if they're the right fit for something that you have to offer. So instead of just asking about their family and their occupation, that's all great, but really you should use some not too pointed, but questions that ask them about, like, their relationship with health, their relationship with fitness in their everyday. And that way it's way easier to bridge the gap between building a relationship with that person and then offering what you have to offer. Because at some point during the conversation, if you gear it towards that, they're going to offer you something that gives you a little clue that this might be something that they could really use. And then you can use that as ammo to bring up the conversation about what you do, whether it's a coach opportunity or as a challenger.
Great. Thank you, Aly. That's great. Okay, Heather, this question is from Heather. What do you do with the people who don't respond to an initial message?
Okay, so on Facebook and even on Instagram, those are the two outlets I use the most to recruit. And if someone doesn't respond to initial message, I did this today before we got on here, actually to a bunch of people. I have another message that I use, especially if, okay, so I don't know if you know this, but on Facebook, if you see a check mark next to the message, that means that the message has been read. But if there's a little arrow, that means that they didn't even see the message. So this really works well, and I use it for everyone, even if I do see the check mark, because maybe they saw it, they read it, they were at work, they had to put it down, and then they forgot to respond. I say, hey, did you see that last message? If this isn't for you, that's totally fine, but I wanted to make sure I got in touch with you. So, I didn't leave you behind, or following in, something to that effect. And then normally, even if they're not interested, they say, oh my gosh, I meant to respond back. I'm so sorry. And they'll say, yeah, send me details. Or they'll say, you know what, just not now. Now is not the right time. And then I'll say, great. Do you want me to follow up with you? Is it okay if I follow up with you for future challenges? And then they'll tell me yes or no. And in that way, I'll add them to my contact list, and I know that I'll follow up with them for next month, or I won't.
That's great. Power of the follow-up. It's definitely important to have, so I love that. Okay, next question. This is from Kristen. How do you inspire coaches to move forward in their businesses and reach their goals? Do you focus on only the willing?
Okay, so this one's a tough question because really everyone is so different. All coaches are so different. They're motivated by different things. And that's why we take the personality test that we do on our team, especially I know lots of teams use that, but we can post that in the link in the comments below later. But it's hard. It's not easy. You have to work with each person individually. And when I first started my business, I didn't work with just the willing. I worked with everyone. I dragged everyone along with me, even if they were kicking and screaming, because I had goals and I knew in my heart of hearts that it would benefit them as well. It wasn't all for me. That if they got to Diamond or if they moved their business forward and they saw the potential in themselves, it would be a positive experience for them as well. But at the beginning, that's what I did. I would, follow up with my coaches who weren't responding back to me every single day. I would literally drag them along kicking and screaming. And that really did, even though it sounds awful, it did serve me at the beginning of my business, because at the beginning of your business, you don't have a following. You don't have a ton of people who trust what you're saying. You don't have a ton of people who are just knocking down your door to be on your team. That's just not the way it works. And in order to advance in your business and to learn how to coach coaches, you sometimes have to work with people who aren't quite as willing. And now, at the point that I'm at, I do have a ton of coaches on my team, and I personally work way down deep in my downline. I don't just work with my personally sponsored coaches. And so I have lots of people who are willing. And so at a certain point, I did have to say to myself, if I give you an assignment and you don't come back to me with it willingly, I can't go back and reach out to you a million times asking you to do what I want you to do if you don't want it for yourself. So there was a distinct change between me saying, okay, I need these people to help me move my business forward, to help me learn how to coach coaches, to help me learn how to deal with people on a business level. And then there was a point where I had to say, I don't have time for everyone. And I do have to work with the willing and the people who really get it. So it's a little bit of both.
Okay, great. No, I love that you actually work with, you dig deep and you work deep into your downline. I think that is a great thing to have and a great thing to just kind of, when you're at a point in your business and you can do that. I love that coaches do reach out to coaches that aren't only just their PS coaches. Okay, next question. This is from Wendy. How do you start your coaches off to see the vision in their ability and the business? To see their own vision?
Well, again, it's different with every single coach. I love to get on a phone call or get on a Zoom and talk to them about how they envision this working for them and why they want to do this in the first place, and really dig deep into their health and fitness goals and what is so inspiring to them about this coaching opportunity. And then I really take what they say and I work with that. I help them craft their vision, but I don't craft it for them. So if they say something and I think, oh, well, I mean, that just lines up so perfectly with the coaching opportunity, I will definitely dig deep into that particular thing and say, you know, this is what this is going to offer you. You're going to be able to help so many people to see this. And normally I really love to get into the personal side of the story. And everyone has a reason that they're here, every single person. And it's different for every single person, but there's somebody out there who's like you and who needs you. And so I love to bring that up and help them to share their story really specifically and vulnerably on their page.
Great. No, I found a coach I was talking to yesterday. She says, not only do I find out their why, but I also find out why you won't quit. And that kind of goes along with your why, is why are you here and why won't you quit? And sometimes that's almost even more important to just kind of look at and watch. So I love that. Okay, next question is from Kristen, and she says she's struggling on finding business builders. Any suggestions?
You know, it's hard. So there are two ways to find business builders. One is to have a lot of challengers who you're amazing at coaching during their challenge and giving them the opportunity to shine in the challenge group. And at the end of the challenge group, or even throughout the challenge group, praising them on how motivational and inspirational they are, and just planting that seed. So at the end of the challenge group, you can say, you know what, you're really already doing what a coach does, and you've had an incredible transformation. It wouldn't be such a far leap for you to start coaching and at least cover the cost of your product, if not more. And then if your team has coaching opportunities or a coaching opportunity video that you can send, just sending that off and scheduling a phone call really is huge. Making sure they watch some kind of content before the phone call and then scheduling that phone call, because you know the benefits of coaching. So if they already know all of the information and then you get them on a phone call, the likelihood of them transitioning over to a coach from a challenger is very high. And then just getting them started right. But the other way you can do it is you can definitely look for coaches within your network or within your cold network. I'm currently, I've been very lucky. I have a very large warm network on Facebook. I'm an actor, so I've done lots of contracts all over, and I have lots of friends, all who sort of are looking for this. So I've been very lucky in that way. And this is a great career opportunity for them to go along with their passion. So I've found a lot of coaches through that, but I really did reach out to people specifically for the coaching opportunity if I thought that they would be great at the business. And it's a little awkward. There's some awkward footing there when you first start figuring out how to broach the subject, because it's different with each person. Just like I said before, each person reacts differently to things. But if you're comfortable with somebody, you should definitely let them know how great you think they would be at it. I would say stay away from spurting out your entire story about coaching and how it's changed your entire life. And I was talking to a coach on the phone the other day who had this script that she had written up about how amazing coaching was and why she thought this person would be a great fit. And I said, you know what? There's a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? You want to leave a little bit of surprise in there. What's that word that I'm looking for? I can't think of it right now. But basically, you don't want to give away too much information right away. You want to say, like, I think you'd be amazing on my team. It would be a blast. I don't know if you've seen what I've been posting on Facebook, but do you want some info? They don't know what it is, really, but you haven't given them any ammo to be like, no, that's not what I'm interested in, before they even get all the information in a concise way. So you just want to leave a little bit of surprise. And then also on like Instagram, for example, Instagram is a great tool to find coaches because people are following you specifically for what you're posting. So on your warm network on Facebook, people are your friends. They're not necessarily interested in your coaching business. They may just be supporting. But then again, you never know, so you should mess them anyway. But on Instagram, they're following you specifically for that. So I've had really good success with reaching out to people on Instagram, asking right off the bat if they would like some information on joining my team, and then sending them straight to a coaching opportunity video, straight to a phone call, and then signing them up as a coach and getting them started right.
I love that. Instagram, I swear, the coaches that have Instagram dialed in, like, it is working and it is booming. I love it. Okay, next question. So you did talk about your challenges of groups a little bit. So do you have any ideas, creative ideas to run amazing challenge groups?
You know, I'm going to be honest. I am not the greatest at running challenge groups. I love what challenge groups do, and I understand their value so much, but I am not the greatest at running them. I do have actually a coach, I don't know if she's listening right now, on the line. She's on here. She's on my team, and she runs amazing challenge groups. Do you want her to chime in?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Her name is Julia Franklin, and if you want to unmute her.
Julia, let's get you unmuted. Okay, Julia, go ahead.
Hi. I'm very put on the spot right now.
You hear the question?
Challenge groups.
You run amazing.
I add my people. I kind of do one almost every week at this point, and I buffer my posts so that I don't actually have to do it every day. But basically, I just go through and like everything, and I message everyone about every 4 days. And if they aren't getting back to me, I'll change it up. I'll email them. If they aren't responding to that, I'll send a voice message. I just try to get them involved as often as possible to get back to me, because then if they're posting in the group, they're going to get results. And they always do when they post in the group. So it's just getting them to post and showing your support. Like, I never really end any conversation without being like, I'm so proud of you, because I love hearing that. So yeah, I guess that's a lot of what it is reaching out to them individually and encouraging posts on the group, because once they post on the group, they're coming back for more.
Great. So when you send out those personal messages, what do you say? You just kind of, I'm touching base with you, how's the program, and just do that one-on-one, building that relationship?
Yeah, it's a lot of, how are you feeling? What are your struggles this week? What are your victories? How is Shakeology making you feel? Is it like, are you experiencing less cravings and all that kind of stuff? I just kind of just all that kind of stuff. A lot about how you're feeling rather than like, what are your results? That tends to get a really great response.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Julia. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Okay, next question. Aly, how do you recruit coaches outside of your challengers?
Well, I think I already sort of touched on that. I use Instagram. I've never done, I know that lots of coaches use Facebook ads, and I have never done a Facebook ad. I don't even know how to set one up. I really try and add to my network consistently on my Facebook, and I really try and send out, I do have a cold invite that I use, because, okay, so let's talk about this for a second. We can like veer a little bit off track. I think that posting on your personal page, or your like page, or whatever page you're using consistently is really, really the major player here. Like, it's the best thing that you can possibly do, because it's how people trust you, and it's what makes them come to you specifically instead of going to Amazon or going to a different coach. So I know that I am posting consistently every day, at least once a day, most of the time 3 times a day. So if I send out a cold message that's like, hi, I know this is so random. How are you? We haven't talked in forever, but I am running this like amazing challenge group for spring, and I want it to be a blowout. I wanted to see if you wanted to get some information. If I send that out to people that are live on my chat, the majority of the people respond back to me saying, oh my gosh, I see that you're doing amazing, incredible things. Yes, send me over some info. These are people that I haven't talked to in years, and they are not liking or commenting on any of the stuff on my Facebook, but they are watching and they are lurking and they are there and they are waiting for the opportunity to get involved. But the cold invites wouldn't work if I wasn't posting. So that's a really big thing that I use, and I don't abuse it. I've had people who have, cold messaged every single person in their network, and then they have no one to talk to for forever. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not what I meant. I meant to do like a, mostly warm network, and then a few cold invites if you still have to get in the rest of that 10, But I guess that's another way besides Instagram. And I noticed that I've talked to a few coaches, and I follow up with everyone who likes and comments on every single post that I do, whether it's Beachbody related or not. Because if they're liking a post, I know that they're connected to what I'm doing. And they're going to be much more likely to say, yeah, I'm not sure if I would be interested in that, but send me some information. So I know lots of people don't follow up with everybody who likes and comments, and I think that is just a waste. You should definitely do that. And don't be scared to do it. They're not going to say like, are you selling me something? They're going to be like, thank you so much for thinking of me. Yes. Or thank you so much for thinking of me, but not right now. And whatever they say, I'm always like, thank you for responding to me. I hope you're doing well. Nobody ever gets mad at me. And that's the thing I hear a lot of my coaches say. I'm afraid people are going to get mad at me. No one ever gets mad at me. Everyone is thankful that I've offered them the opportunity.
I love that. Sometimes you just have to ask. You just have to actually work up the courage. If that's, your kind of your downfall or something like that, is actually believing in yourself. Like, you just have to work up the courage and just ask. If you don't ask, someone else will. So you might as well just, hey, get it over with and just ask people. I love that. Okay. How do you get your free customers to respond?
I don't always. Not very many people do. I have an email that I send out. And if they don't respond, and in the email it says, look out for a text from me in the next few days. And then I'll send a text and be like, hey, I'm Aly. I'm your Beachbody coach. I don't know if you even knew that I was assigned to you, but I was just a customer just like you. I'm just looking out for you to help you, to answer any questions that you have. I also run amazing challenge groups if you want to get involved in them. And honestly, not a lot of people respond because they don't understand what's going on. But I continue to follow up, and I do have a builder coach on my team who was a customer lead, which is awesome. And she was actually a customer lead, not even a Success Club lead. She hadn't purchased anything. And she responded back to me. We got her a challenge pack. She builds on my team. So it does happen, but if you're not getting responses, my suggestion is don't take it personally. You're not doing anything wrong. I know that my coach, Megan, she has an email set in place that goes out to them monthly, and eventually sometimes people respond. But the ratio is very low, so don't get discouraged if they're not responding back to you.
Great advice. Great. Okay, so this is the last question I have. When did you begin to contract out work with an assistant? What do you give them versus what do you focus on your time doing?
So it was very clear when I started needing an assistant. There was no doubt in my mind that I needed to outsource. I felt like I needed two of me. And that's when I decided to hire a virtual assistant. And I don't have him I used to have him do more actually, because I was still learning how to manage everything and time block everything. But now he really does my auto ship emails, which I send out to my challengers and coaches 3 weeks in to let them know that they're going to get charged for a home direct, so that we can have a discussion so that they don't just cancel without me knowing, or so that I don't get messages being like, why am I getting charged? Blah, blah, blah. Because that's never a fun thing. And I've had coaches quit over that because they feel bad. And I don't ever want that to happen. So I have him do that. I have him send out my emails to my customer leads. I have him do tech things that I don't know how to do. He does some badges for my team every Thursday. He does my top producers and my team builders of the week. He does things that I don't have to do, that don't require my personality and don't require my personal skills. Anything that I could, that like today he's going to download my friends off of my Facebook and put them into a Google Doc. But I don't ever have him talk to somebody or send out messages because I think that that's just a recipe for disaster.
No, that's great. Exactly. I think I love that you have them do things that, like exactly what you said, without your personal touch. Because I mean, coaches sign up for you. They want to work for you. They're your kind of niche or your avatar. So I love that. And you definitely, like Aly said, you'll definitely know when you're ready for one and when you need one. Like you'll get to that point and be like, okay.
Totally. And just one more thing, if I have time.
No, go ahead.
There was definitely a point too where and I think this goes along with the virtual assistant, where I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm 5-star and I shouldn't be sending out personal messages. Like I talked myself into this craziness where I was like, my virtual assistant should be sending out the initial message to everyone who likes and comments. My virtual assistant should be sending out, my Instagram messages. And then it didn't work. And I listened to a ton of the top 10 coaches who were all like, we are still doing the basics on a daily basis. And I was getting too big for my britches. And I was like, I shouldn't have to do that now, and that's just not true. So if you're thinking about hiring a virtual assistant to do your dirty work, don't do it. You will not get the same response. There's something about you pressing the enter key and you sending the message that is different than a virtual assistant doing it. There really, truly is. And my business slowed down when I had him do that considerably because I wasn't there when someone responded to me. I couldn't remember where they were from. I didn't know because I didn't know the origin. And it was just a mess. And so that's why I stopped having him do that kind of stuff. And really my business started building way back up when I got down into the trenches. And this also goes back, and I know that every top coach will say this, that if you do the vital behaviors, your team will do the vital behaviors. If you're promoting that in your team page or however you talk to your coaches, they will follow suit. The speed of the leader is definitely the speed of the pack. And so when I wasn't doing that, I wasn't connected to that, and my team stopped doing it as well. It was disastrous. Do not do that.
Great advice. Great way to end the call. Great way to answer that question. I loved every minute of it. Any questions for anyone on the call really fast? We okay? Okay. Aly, I appreciate it. We are so glad that you were able to talk to us today on the Champions page. I will post the recording. If you guys have any questions at all, let me know, and we'll see you guys later. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.